morning. Good morning. Is this on? I don't know. I think it is. Okay, great. Um, okay, so today we're going to talk about emotions. Good morning. Oh, this is so weird. I can't tell if I'm live or not because I'm using my laptop and not my phone for the first time. I think I'm good. Now I'm definitely live. Let's talk about emotions. What shocks me always is the lack of conversations human beings have with each other about these deep, meaningful emotions, or these strong emotions, or these feelings that we have. Not maybe often, but sometimes detrimental emotions that we have, and we don't talk about them enough. And I want to start talking about them because a lot of what I do with my friends and a lot of what I do with the people that I hang out with or the people that I meet is I talk about these emotions, and I just find that they're powerful conversations, and they can be perspective changing, or they could be very helpful if you hear the right thing, especially at the right time, right? So today, well, I want to talk about the whole idea of emotions in general. I want to talk about being overwhelmed, and let's just kind of go deep dive in, and please let's define overwhelm. Because it's one of the more common, scary emotions that I think is nowadays too common, especially among the youth. So feeling overwhelmed is not the same as feeling stressed. Although feeling stressed is like being is like a small part of being overwhelmed. But being overwhelmed is you feeling that you are unable to cope with everything that is being thrown at you, right? So if you are overwhelmed, you don't believe that the things are unfolding faster than you can manage it, right? So remember, if you get more than one bad news right after each other, you could feel overwhelmed. But you're not gonna feel overwhelmed if you get that bad news in spaces and if it's kind of spread out. A sure way of overwhelming a child: give them like 10 exams on the same day, right? Or cram them all into the same week, and they feel overwhelmed. But let's talk about now what happens. What's actually happening to you when you are feeling overwhelmed? The the biggest thing that you need to, and I just want you to just take this away, is that when you're overwhelmed, you are 10 out of 10 feeling the emotions. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, you can feel the emotion of overwhelm because it's like it's there. It's so apparent, but you're not paying attention to the emotions that you're feeling that much. That's probably about a 5 out of 10. But even worse is actually that you don't really understand the emotions that you're feeling. So probably a 2 out of 10 is what the research says of how much you feel the emotions that you're feeling. Sorry, how much you understand the emotions that you are feeling when you're overwhelmed. Um, I don't think I'm doing a good job explaining this. Let me start again. When you're overwhelmed, you're feeling a lot of emotions, okay? And you're 10 out of 10, you can feel them. But your understanding of those emotions is very, very low. That means, I'll give you an example. If you've ever been in a car accident, right? And I've been in a car accident, unfortunately, more than once. And in that moment, right at the scene of the accident, you're overwhelmed. You're like, oh my God. And especially if it's like all this, like it's overwhelming to you because you're not really able to handle it, you kind of start shutting down. But what I'm trying to say here is, you hear the person in the accident, they say, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. That's that person in a state of overwhelm, not being able to understand the emotions that they're feeling, or how they're feeling. So when they're saying they're okay, they truly think they're okay, but their sense of understanding their emotions is literally, research says, 2 out of 10. And so you don't want to be making decisions in that moment. And this is why a lot of insurance companies, a lot of lawyers, they say, like, yeah, you might have said that at the scene of the accident, but like that's when you're overwhelmed, which is why anything you say in that moment is usually not taken with so much weight, and medical professionals and whatnot know that, right? Oh, well, my back is fine. How would your back be fine? You said a whiplash, or just my back is fine. I feel okay. You don't understand what you're saying. So that's overwhelmed. Now, what do you do? What should you do? And what do restaurants do? What do waiters and servers have some of the most stressful job out there, and they are constantly in a state of either stress, or they get to points of almost overwhelmness, right? And in restaurants they do this, and the cure for overwhelm, or the immediate cure for being overwhelmed, is to do something with no agenda. Like just go and do nothing. Like it has to be do nothing. I'll give you an example. If you're in a restaurant and you're a waiter or a server and you say, I'm overwhelmed, and you probably have a code word for being overwhelmed, they say, go outside and just do nothing. They completely take over all your tables. They don't ask you to help solve, okay, well, which table is overwhelming you, or what's going on, or da 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 da. They just completely take over, because the only way for you to get over the feeling of overwhelm is to do nothing, is to go out and just like spend 5 or 10 minutes behind the restaurant, or spend 5 or 10 minutes away from the accident scene and just do nothing. Like literally a nothing list, a no agenda list. That's how you get over overwhelm. We could go on so much deeper, and I plan to, and I want to, and when I turn all my live videos into actual content that I create, edited, I'll go deeper. But what I'm trying to show you here is that a simple emotion like overwhelm, and then there's anxiety, and then there's stress, and then there's worry. All these are different emotions, and they all have different cures. They all have different traits. They all have different characteristics, and they all have different research behind them. And we gotta start talking about it more. I mean, you gotta start talking about it more if you want more control of your life. It's always shocking to me how people don't understand. People don't understand the connection between your emotions, your thoughts, and then your behaviors. You see somebody, and they're just in this emotional wreck, right? They're just in an emotionally really bad state. And then somebody comes and asks them something, and you're like, "Are you crazy? How is this person asking that person whatever they're asking them in this emotional state? It's obviously going to lead to this behavior." You're watching this as as an observer, but they don't see that. It's because they don't understand emotions and how emotions can lead to different thoughts and then lead to different behaviors. But you do, and this is why we don't ask for favors until we put somebody in a certain emotional state. For example, you don't go and ask for your boss for a time off or a day off if they're in a really bad emotional, stressed, overwhelmed state. You wait until their emotions change. But understanding the correlation between emotions, thoughts, and behavior is very important, and I plan on educating you a lot more. Hopefully, I'll do just single focused emotion talks like this more often, and eventually turn them into hard content instead of just live videos, so they're more to the point. All right, that's all for today. I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow.